The void between stars had never felt so vast. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the UES Discovery, Earth's most advanced research vessel, watching as her crew prepared for their first faster-than-light jump. The ship represented humanity's greatest achievement, a vessel capable of reaching beyond their solar system, built to explore and make peaceful contact with other civilizations. "Quantum drive spooling up," announced Dr. Marcus Way, their chief engineer. His fingers danced across holographic controls, making minute adjustments to power flows. Field stability at 98%. Elena took a deep breath, feeling the subtle vibration through the deck plates. After 5 years of preparation, countless simulations, and endless technical refinements, they were about to make history. The bridge crew, carefully selected from the best Earth had to offer, worked with practiced precision. "All systems nominal," reported Lieutenant Sarah Chen, their sensors officer. Her dark eyes remained fixed on the quantum field readings. "Jump coordinates locked on target star system." Elena nodded, her voice steady despite the magnitude of the moment. "Initiate jump sequence." The stars outside stretched like rubber bands, then snapped into streaks of light. The Discovery slipped between the fabric of space-time, carrying humanity's hopes and dreams toward their destiny. None of them could have predicted how that destiny would unfold. They emerged in an unknown system, their sensors immediately beginning to map the surrounding space. A red giant star cast a crimson glow across the bridge, its light reflecting off their faces like blood. "Initial scans complete," Sarah announced, then paused. Her fingers froze above her console. "Captain, I'm detecting artificial structures. Multiple objects in high orbit around the system's fourth planet." Elena leaned forward in her chair. First contact. Already, they had expected to search dozens of systems before finding signs of alien civilization. "Show me." The main view screen shifted, displaying a cluster of angular objects. They were clearly constructed rather than natural, their surfaces reflecting the red giant's light in geometric patterns. But something about their design triggered an instinctive warning in Elena's mind. "Those aren't space stations," Marcus said quietly, his engineering expertise letting him recognize what they were seeing. "Those are weapon platforms." Before Elena could respond, the Discovery sensors screamed to life. Multiple energy signatures appeared around them, ships dropping out of some form of faster-than-light travel. Their design was predatory. All sharp angles and weapon ports, their hulls covered in what appeared to be battle scars. 6 vessels, Sarah reported, her voice tense. "Configuration unknown. They're charging weapons." "Open communications," Elena ordered. "All frequencies. This is Captain Elena Rodriguez of the Earth vessel Discovery. We come in peace." The alien ships opened fire. Energy beams of impossible power lanced through space, striking the Discovery's shields. Alarms blared across the bridge as systems overloaded. "Shields failing," Marcus shouted over the chaos. "Their weapons, they're using some kind of quantum resonance technology. Our defenses weren't designed for this." Elena gripped her chair as another blast rocked the ship. "Evasive maneuvers. Get us out of here." The Discovery turned, its engines straining as it tried to escape. But the alien vessels were faster, more maneuverable. They herded the Earth ship like wolves circling prey. "They're transmitting," Sarah announced. "Universal translator processing." A harsh voice filled the bridge, speaking in oddly accented English. "Primitive vessel, you have entered Voraxian space. Your technology is insufficient. Your species is insufficient. Prepare for harvesting." Elena's blood ran cold at the casual cruelty in those words. This wasn't first contact. It was first conquest. Status of the quantum drive. 15 minutes to recharge, Marcus reported grimly. "We won't last 5. Another hit sent sparks flying from multiple consoles. The bridge filled with smoke as systems failed. Elena watched her crew fighting to keep their ship alive, and something hardened in her chest. They might not survive this encounter, but they would make sure Earth knew what was coming. "Begin emergency protocol." she ordered. Download all sensor data on their weapons and defenses. Prepare for tight beam transmission to Earth. Sarah worked frantically at her station, then gasped. Captain, their weapons, the quantum resonance. I'm seeing patterns in the energy signatures. They're similar to our drive technology, but far more advanced. Can you copy the data? Elena demanded. Already done. But Sarah's eyes widened as she studied the readings. Captain, I think we could modify our drive tow. The ship shuddered as another blast struck home. Hull breach on Deck 3. Marcus shouted. Emergency force fields holding, but barely. Elena made her decision. Sarah, whatever you're thinking, do it. Marcus, divert all remaining power to her station. We have nothing left to lose. The next few minutes were a blur of desperate activity. Sarah's fingers flew across her console, making modifications to the quantum drive's operating protocols, while Marcus fed her power from every system they could spare. The alien ships continued their attack, seemingly toying with their prey. Ready, Sarah announced finally. But Captain, this is completely theoretical. It could tear us apart. And if we do nothing, we're dead anyway. Elena replied. Do it. Sarah activated her modified protocols. For a moment, nothing happened. Then reality seemed to twist around them. The Discovery's quantum drive engaged, but instead of jumping to faster-than-light travel, it created a field of warped space-time around the ship. The next Varaxian energy blast struck this field and bounced back. It's working, Sarah exclaimed. The quantum resonance of their weapons. We're matching it, redirecting it. They watched in amazement as their attackers recoiled, their own weapons turning against them. One Varaxian ship's shields overloaded, its hull cracking under the strain of its reflected energy. Get us out of here, Elena ordered. Maximum speed. The Discovery's engines flared, and this time, when they initiated a quantum jump, something was different. The ship moved faster than ever before, as if it had learned something from its encounter with the advanced alien weapons. As they fled back toward Earth, Elena looked at her battered but unbowed crew. Sarah, what exactly did you do to our drive? The young lieutenant shook her head, still looking stunned at what she'd accomplished. I noticed their weapons operated on similar principles to our quantum drive. So I modified our field to match their resonance frequency, creating a kind of quantum mirror. But Captain, this is just the beginning. With more study, more development. We could defend ourselves, Elena finished, not just against them, but against anything like them. She touched her command console, beginning her official log. This is Captain Rodriguez recording. Today, humanity made first contact. It didn't go as we hoped, but in failing to find friends among the stars, we may have found something else, a way to ensure our survival. As the Discovery raced home, carrying its vital data and hard-won knowledge, none of them knew they had just initiated a project that would change the course of human history. The Phoenix Protocol was about to rise from the ashes of their shattered dreams of peaceful first contact. 3 months after the Discovery's return, Dr. Sarah Chen stood before the United Earth Defense Council, her hand steady as she manipulated the holographic display. The chamber was filled with military leaders and scientists from every major nation, all focused on the simulation playing out before them. As you can see, Sarah explained, the Varaxian weapons we encountered operate on principles far beyond our current understanding. However, their fundamental basis, quantum resonance, is something we've already been working with in our drive systems. The simulation showed the Discovery's desperate battle, but now with detailed energy analysis overlaid. Streams of data highlighted the moment when Sarah's modified drive had turned the aliens' weapons against them. Admiral James Torres, a veteran of Earth's pre-FTL Space Forces, leaned forward. You're telling me you developed this defensive system in the middle of combat? Not developed, Sarah corrected. Discovered. What we've been doing since our return is understanding how it works and how to replicate it consistently. She gestured, and the display changed to show a new device. This is the Phoenix core. It's a quantum resonance matrix that can adapt to and redirect any energy-based attack. The room erupted in murmurs. Dr. Victor Rossi, Earth's leading quantum physicist, spoke up. The power requirements must be enormous. Sarah nodded. They were at first. But we found something interesting. She brought up new data streams. Each time we successfully redirect an attack, the core learns. It becomes more efficient, requiring less energy for subsequent defenses against similar weapons. It learns? Someone asked, voice skeptical. Not like AI. Sarah clarified. More like evolution at the quantum level. The energy patterns adapt and optimize themselves naturally. She paused, letting that sink in. What we stumbled upon isn't just a defense system. It's a technology that grows stronger the more it's tested. Admiral Torres stood, his expression grave. Dr. Chen, the Discovery's logs suggest these Voraxians aren't just hostile. They're predatory. They called us insufficient. What does that mean for Earth? Sarah's expression hardened. Based on their communications and behavior, we believe the Voraxians are part of a galactic hierarchy. Strong species prey on weaker ones, taking their resources, possibly enslaving populations. She brought up a new simulation, but they've never encountered anything like the Phoenix core. The simulation showed a theoretical battle between a Phoenix-equipped vessel and multiple Voraxian ships. The alien weapons were caught in a complex web of quantum fields. Their energy turned back against them with increasing efficiency. This is why we're calling it the Phoenix Protocol. Sarah continued. Like the mythical bird, it rises stronger from every attack. But there's more. She hesitated, then brought up her most controversial data. We've begun detecting quantum communications between distant star systems. There's an entire network out there, used by multiple species, and based on what we're intercepting. Earth isn't the only target. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity wasn't just facing the Voraxians. They were on the edge of a galaxy filled with predator species. How long? Admiral Torres asked. How long until we can implement this protection? The first Phoenix core is already operational, Sarah revealed, causing another stir in the chamber. We've installed it in a testing facility on Mars. But scaling up for planetary defense, building a fleet, she shook her head. That depends on how much support we receive. The next hour was a blur of questions, debates, and increasingly urgent planning. Sarah watched as the world's leaders grappled with the reality she and the Discovery's crew had been living with for months. Earth wasn't alone in the universe, and it needed to prepare for a very different future than they'd imagined. Later, in her lab beneath Mount Cheyenne, Sarah stood before the prototype Phoenix core. The device hummed softly, its quantum fields visible as subtle distortions in the air. Captain Rodriguez, who had insisted on staying involved with the project, joined her. The council approved everything, Elena said. Full funding, global cooperation, whatever we need. How does it feel to be heading humanity's most important project? Sarah watched the quantum patterns shift and dance. Honestly, terrified. We're about to change everything, Elena. Not just our technology, but our entire place in the galaxy. Better than letting the Voraxians change it for us, Elena replied grimly. Have you solved the power fluctuation issues? Actually, yes. Sarah brought up her latest data on a nearby screen. We've found that linking multiple cores creates a kind of resonance network. They support each other, share the load. The more we add, the stronger and more efficient the entire system becomes. Elena studied the data, like a collective defense, the whole becoming stronger than the sum of its parts. Exactly. But Elena, Sarah hesitated. I've been analyzing the quantum communications we're intercepting. The Voraxians aren't the strongest species out there. They're more like middle management in a galactic food chain. Above them are things that make them look primitive. Then we'd better make sure the Phoenix Protocol is ready, Elena said firmly, because I have a feeling Earth is about to attract a lot of attention. Sarah turned back to the core, watching its quantum fields pulse with potential. They had just over 6 months before the Varaxian scanning range would reach Earth. 6 months to turn a desperate discovery into humanity's shield against the darkness. "We'll be ready," she said, more to herself than Alina. "We have to be." As if in response, the Phoenix core's fields flared briefly, its quantum patterns shifting into a new configuration. The device was already adapting, learning, preparing for challenges it hadn't yet faced, just like humanity itself. The alarm shattered the pre-dawn silence at Phoenix Base 1. Dr. Sarah Chen was already awake, running simulations when the quantum detection grid lit up like a Christmas tree. She didn't need the AI's announcement to know what it meant. The Varaxians had arrived. Multiple quantum signatures detected at the edge of solar system. The base AI reported. Configuration matches Varaxian battle fleet. Count exceeds previous estimates. 327 vessels identified. Sarah accessed the command channel as she rushed to the control center. Status of the defense grid. Phoenix cores 1 through 12 operating at optimal efficiency. The AI responded. Planetary shield network at 98% coverage. First response fleet standing by. The control center was already filling with personnel when Sarah arrived. Admiral Torres stood at the main tactical display, his face illuminated by the holographic representation of the incoming fleet. Captain Rodriguez, now commanding Earth's first Phoenix-equipped vessel, the EDS Defiant, appeared on a secondary screen. "They're not even trying to hide," Elena reported. "This is a show of force. They want us to see them coming." Sarah studied the tactical display. The Varaxian fleet was arranged in an attack formation they'd seen in intercepted communications, the Hammer of Dominance. It was designed to overwhelm planetary defenses through sheer firepower. "They still think we're primitive," Sarah realized. "They have no idea what they're flying into." Admiral Torres nodded grimly. "Then let's keep it that way. All stations, initiate Phoenix Protocol Alpha. Captain Rodriguez, move the Defiant into position, but do not engage. Let them make the first move." The next hour was tense as the Varaxian fleet approached. Earth's population had been prepared for this possibility, but seeing the actual threat approaching on public warning displays sent waves of anxiety across the globe. The Phoenix Protocol was still untested in full-scale combat. The Varaxian commander's transmission came exactly as their behavioral models had predicted. The same harsh, translated voice they'd heard months ago filled the command channel. "Primitive species, your recent technological advancement has been noted. It changes nothing. Surrender your resources and accept subordination, or face extinction. You have 10 minutes to comply." Admiral Torres looked at Sarah. "Doctor, are we ready for this?" Sarah checked the quantum resonance readings one final time. The Phoenix cores were humming with potential energy, their quantum fields interlinked in a web that surrounded Earth. "Ready, Admiral. But there's something you should know. The cores, they're excited. The quantum patterns are more active than I've ever seen. It's like they're anticipating the attack." "Is that a problem?" "No," Sarah said slowly. "I think it's an evolution. They've been learning, preparing. We're about to see what they can really do." The 10 minutes passed quickly. The Varaxian fleet moved into attack position, their weapons charging. Energy readings spiked off the charts as they prepared to demonstrate their power. "All personnel," Admiral Torres announced, his voice carrying to every defender of Earth. "Stand firm. Remember your training. We are humanity's shield." The Varaxians opened fire. Hundreds of quantum-enhanced energy beams lanced toward Earth, enough firepower to crack a planet's crust. They expected their attack to overwhelm any primitive defenses. They were wrong. The Phoenix network activated. Quantum fields flickered into visible existence, catching the Varaxian attack in a web of redirected energy. But instead of simply reflecting the attack back, the cores did something unexpected. They began to resonate with each other, creating interference patterns in the quantum field. "Doctor," Admiral Torres demanded as new readings flooded their screens. What's happening? Sarah's fingers flew across her console, analyzing the data. The cores aren't just redirecting the energy, they're synchronizing it, creating a unified defense field. This is beyond anything we predicted. The Varaxian attack didn't just fail, it became part of Earth's defense. Each shot they fired strengthened the quantum field, making it more resistant to their weapons. The Phoenix network was learning, adapting, evolving in real time. Second wave incoming. Elena reported from the Defiant. They're switching to gravitic weapons. The new attack met the same fate as the first. The Phoenix field caught the gravitic distortions and wove them into its pattern, growing stronger. The Varaxian fleet's coordinated assault was becoming a demonstration of Earth's invulnerability. We're detecting power fluctuations in their fleet, Sarah announced. Their weapons are overheating from sustained fire. The Phoenix field is feeding back trace energy into their systems. On the tactical display, Varaxian ships began dropping out of attack formation. Their perfectly coordinated assault was falling apart as they faced something outside their experience, a defense that grew stronger with each attack. They're transmitting again, the communications officer reported. The Varaxian commander's voice had lost its arrogance. What is this technology? How are you doing this? Admiral Torres smiled grimly. This is humanity's answer to your aggression. We didn't want this fight, but we're ending it. Withdraw your fleet, or we'll show you exactly what the Phoenix Protocol can do when we take the offensive. The threat was technically a bluff. They hadn't yet tested the protocol's offensive capabilities. But the Varaxians didn't know that. They watched as the alien fleet began to retreat, their formations breaking down into near panic. As the threat receded, Sarah continued analyzing the data from the engagement. What she found made her breath catch. Admiral, Captain, you need to see this. The Phoenix network, during the attack, it wasn't just defending. It was communicating. Communicating with what? Elena asked. With itself. Between cores, between ships, through quantum space. It's created its own network. And there's something else. Sarah brought up a new display showing energy patterns spreading out into space. It's reaching out. The quantum field we generated. I think it's visible to other species. We just announced our presence to the entire galaxy. Admiral Torres studied the data. Is that a problem? I don't know, Sarah admitted. But one thing's certain. We're not hiding anymore. The Phoenix Protocol just changed the balance of power in the galaxy. Every species out there will have seen what happened here. Good, Elena said firmly. Let them see. Let them know that humanity won't be an easy target. As the command center erupted in celebrations, Sarah kept her eyes on the quantum field readings. The Phoenix network was still active, still evolving. They had created something more than a defense system. They had created a new form of life, one born from humanity's need to survive. And somewhere in the vast quantum field surrounding Earth, patterns were forming, growing, reaching out to touch the stars themselves. The test of fire was over, but the true implications of the Phoenix Protocol were just beginning to unfold. The quantum communication came from a species calling themselves the Meridians. Their message was simple. We seek protection. 3 weeks after Earth's victory over the Varaxian fleet, Dr. Sarah Chen found herself facing an entirely new challenge. First, a diplomatic contact with a peaceful alien species. The Meridian representatives arrived in a ship that seemed to be made of living crystal, its surface refracting sunlight in complex patterns. They were beautiful beings of ethereal grace, their translucent bodies housing swirling clouds of bioluminescent particles. But despite their alien appearance, their fear was all too familiar. For 3 centuries, we have endured Varaxian raids. The Meridian speaker, who called herself Dawn of Hope, explained. Their translated voice carried both dignity and desperation. We saw what your Phoenix Protocol accomplished. We offer trade, knowledge, cooperation, in exchange for sharing your protection. Sarah glanced at Admiral Torres and the newly formed diplomatic council members present in the meeting. Earth's leaders had anticipated this possibility, but the reality of it was still stunning. Humanity, barely 6 months after learning they weren't alone in the galaxy, was being asked to become a protector species. The Phoenix Protocol is more than just technology, Sarah explained carefully. It's evolving, growing. We're still learning its capabilities ourselves. Yet you mastered it enough to drive away the Voraxians, Dawn of Hope observed. Others watched that battle. The Centauri Collective, the Quantum Ascendancy, species that have suffered under predator races for millennia. They too will come seeking alliance. She was right. Within days of the Meridian arrival, more delegations appeared. The Centauri turned out to be a species of silicon-based crystalline beings, their bodies housing complex computational networks. The Quantum Ascendancy were energy beings who existed partially in higher dimensions. Each brought their own technologies, their own knowledge, and their own requests for protection. But not everyone on Earth welcomed these developments. We should be demanding tribute, General Marcus Van argued during a closed council session. These species need us more than we need them. The Phoenix Protocol gives us power. We should use it. Sarah watched the growing division among Earth's leadership with concern. The protocol's success had awakened humanity's old dreams of empire alongside its hopes for peace. Every new alien delegation added fuel to both sides of the debate. The protocol wasn't designed for conquest, she countered. Its strength comes from defense, from protection. If we try to turn it into a weapon of aggression, we don't know how it will react. The quantum fields surrounding Earth seemed to pulse in agreement. Since the Voraxian battle, the Phoenix network had grown more complex, more aware. It responded to threats with increasing sophistication, but its behavior during peaceful interactions was equally fascinating. Captain Rodriguez, attending via quantum link from the Defiant, supported Sarah's position. The alien species approaching us now aren't coming in fear of our power. They're coming in hope of our protection. That's a distinction we need to maintain. The debate might have continued indefinitely if the Meridians hadn't provided proof of a greater threat. Their quantum astronomers had detected something massive moving through the galaxy's outer arms, a migration of predator species drawn by news of the Phoenix Protocol. They will not seek alliance, Dawn of Hope warned. They will attempt to seize or destroy the protocol. Separately, we are vulnerable. Together, with your protection and our combined knowledge, we might survive. The evidence was compelling enough to sway most of Earth's leaders. The Coalition for Mutual Defense was formally established, with Earth as its cornerstone. The Phoenix Protocol would be shared, not as a weapon, but as a shield for all peaceful species. But General Van and his supporters weren't finished. They began a secret project, attempting to modify the protocol for offensive purposes. Sarah discovered their efforts too late. They're trying to force the quantum fields into a weaponized configuration, she reported urgently to Admiral Torres. But the protocol is rejecting their changes. The feedback is building up in their test facility. The resulting quantum cascade destroyed an entire military base, leaving behind a sphere of altered spacetime where natural laws behaved strangely. It was proof that the protocol truly did have a will of its own, and it would not be turned from its protective purpose. The incident served as a stark warning, but it also revealed something unexpected. The coalition species, watching Earth handle its internal conflict, were impressed not by humanity's power, but by their commitment to using it responsibly. Your species is young, Dawn of Hope observed to Sarah after the crisis. Yet you understand something many ancient races never learned. True strength lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the choice to protect. Sarah stood in her lab, watching the quantum fields ripple around the original Phoenix core. The pattern of its energy had changed since first contact with the coalition species. It was incorporating elements of their quantum technologies, growing, evolving into something that transcended its origins as a mere defense system. We're not just building a coalition, she realized, sharing her thoughts with Elena via quantum link. We're creating a new way for species to interact. The protocol isn't just protecting us physically. It's changing how we all think about power. Elena's response was thoughtful. Maybe that's the real evolution we're seeing. Not just in the technology, but in us. But even as the coalition grew stronger, as more species sought Earth's protection, Sarah couldn't shake a feeling of unease. The quantum fields were showing patterns she'd never seen before, responding to something beyond their current understanding. Something was coming, something that would test not just the protocol's power, but the very idea of what it meant to be a protector species. The galaxy was changing, and humanity had become the catalyst. The only question was whether they were ready for what those changes would bring. The quantum disturbance hit like a tidal wave. Sarah Chen felt it before the alarms sounded, a ripple through the Phoenix network that made every core in the coalition pulse with anticipation. Something vast was approaching, warping spacetime with its passage. Multiple quantum signatures detected, the AI announced. Configuration unknown. Scale unprecedented. The tactical display showed what they faced. A massive fleet emerging from quantum space. Not just Varaxians this time, but dozens of predator species united in common cause. Ships of crystal and dark matter, vessels that bent light around them, structures that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once, all converging on coalition space. They're not even bothering with demands, Admiral Torres noted grimly. They're here to end this. The coalition's response was immediate. Meridian crystal ships formed defensive patterns around Earth. Centauri vessels linked into computational networks, coordinating fleet movements. The quantum ascendancy's higher dimensional beings prepared to contest spacetime itself. But Sarah's attention was on the Phoenix network. The quantum fields were behaving strangely, forming new patterns she'd never seen before. The cores are linking in a new configuration, she reported. They're drawing in quantum energy from everywhere. Elena's voice came through the command channel from the Defiant. We're seeing the same thing out here. The protocol is reaching into quantum space, connecting all coalition vessels into some kind of unified field. The enemy fleet opened fire. Energy weapons, dark matter projectors, dimensional shears, every form of destruction known to the galaxy's oldest species, all directed at the heart of the coalition. It should have been enough to shatter planets. Instead, something miraculous happened. The Phoenix network caught their attack, but instead of simply reflecting it, the quantum fields began to change. They expanded, rippled, transformed. The energy of the attack wasn't just redirected, it was reconstructed. The protocol, Sarah whispered in awe. It's not just defending anymore. It's creating. Where the attack struck, new structures formed in spacetime. Quantum matrices that linked coalition ships together, enabling them to share energy, coordinate defenses, support each other in ways that transcended normal physics. The more the Predator fleet attacked, the more the protocol built. This is what it was working toward, Sarah realized. Not just protection through reflection, but through connection, through cooperation. The Predator fleet's coordination began to break down as they faced something outside their experience. Their attacks weren't just failing, they were strengthening their enemy. Some ships tried to retreat, only to find the quantum fields had altered space around them, making escape impossible. Then came the protocol's final evolution. The quantum fields reached out to the attacking ships, not to destroy them, but to offer connection. The same protective network that linked the coalition extended tendrils of energy toward their attackers. They're being offered a choice, Dawn of Hope observed, her crystalline form pulsing with understanding. Join or retreat. The protocol isn't seeking to destroy them. It's trying to break the cycle of predation itself. Ship by ship, the attack faltered. Some vessels accepted the connection, their quantum signatures changing as they were enveloped in the protective field. Others turned away, retreating into quantum space. A few tried to continue fighting, only to find their weapons transformed into pure defensive energy. In less than an hour, The greatest fleet of predator species ever assembled had been defeated, not through destruction, but through transformation. The protocol wasn't just a defense system, Sarah explained later to the Coalition Council. It was a seed. We thought we were creating a shield, but we were actually growing something new. A way for species to connect, to protect each other, to evolve beyond the need for predation. The quantum fields surrounding Earth pulsed in agreement. They had grown far beyond their original purpose, becoming something that existed between the dimensions, linking all species that chose to join in mutual protection. Elena, standing on the Defiance Bridge at the edge of Coalition space, watched the quantum fields ripple with new connections. "We wanted to protect humanity," she said. "Instead, we found a way to protect everyone who wants to be protected. Not everyone will choose to join." Admiral Torres pointed out. "Some species will cling to their old ways." "That's their choice," Sarah replied. "The protocol offers protection, not dominance. That's what makes it different from everything that came before." The original Phoenix core, still housed in Sarah's lab, had changed. Its quantum fields now connected to every core in the Coalition. Every ship, every species that had chosen to join the network. It was no longer just a human creation. It had become something universal, something that transcended any single species. Dawn of Hope, speaking for the Coalition, summarized it best. The predators sought to destroy what they couldn't understand. Instead, they helped birth the new era. The Phoenix Protocol has evolved beyond a weapon or a shield. It has become a bridge between all who seek peace. As Sarah stood in the quantum fields that now linked 1,000 worlds, she reflected on how far they'd come from that first desperate battle. Humanity had faced the darkness of space, expecting to find only threats and conflict. Instead, they had found a way to turn protection into connection, defense into cooperation. The Phoenix Protocol continued to evolve, reaching out across the galaxy. It wasn't just humanity's shield anymore. It had become the galaxy's hope for a different future. A future where strength came not from the ability to destroy, but from the choice to protect, to connect, to grow together. And in the quantum fields that linked the stars, patterns formed that looked almost like wings, the phoenix rising not from ashes, but from the combined hope of all species that chose to soar together.